Hello, agus fáilte go trí séascad me se Hannah McKirdy sa mí talíte a bhí cáidirh in teachingsa gus súla hort iad na bornich íantach an na sil spòrs na h-Alba. I cumá ceann a bhaite dhéim sa stúdiú anoch ha téitli talent an an imitach spòrs Heather Lockhart. Éad program na huicheanach. Bí mé héint Heather a bring mioing na geamaichean Jedi ag skipian rugby agus ball-coise na h-Alba. Ha cluicheadair teanas Anna Brogan a bring mu dríoch go seo. Agus ha cluicheadair rugby ag Hamilton Shannon Goundry ag géise mú hopad mar Tosgaire Òg is on Rugby Force. Hi Heather, welcome back to 360.
Thank you, good to be back.
It's been a while since you were last in and a lot's been happening. We'll start with the football and the recent World Cup qualifiers. A victory for Scotland against Hungary in Budapest at the tail end of last week and comprehensive against the Faroe Islands on Tuesday night, 7-1. Pedro Martinez Losa hasn't had a lot of time with the squad, but on paper a dream start for the new manager.
Yeah, he must be delighted, especially with the amount of goals and playing at Hamilton for the first time in a qualifier on Tuesday night and three players getting their first international goals, which is just fantastic. And I think he'll be pleased in the manner in which they were scored and well constructed goals, taking their chances and the variety as well, both from set piece, Claire Emsley, free kicks and yeah, nice headers, etc. So yeah, absolute dream start. But actually they're sitting second in the points table at the moment. Spain are ahead on goal difference, so maybe that's something they'll be looking to for the next match.
Yeah, and you touched on those debut goals there. A lot was made about call-offs before the Hungary match, but lots of debuts and lots of goals on Tuesday. How important is that in terms of confidence for the squad at this kind of early stage of the qualifying campaign?
Oh, I think that's massive, and obviously it's a long qualifying campaign over the year, but that they will take great heart and great confidence from that, and I'm sure they'll look at the footage afterwards. But the way they've celebrated each goal as well, there seemed a real good team spirit there as well. So I'm playing two matches close together as well, because then you get a bit of momentum. So Friday night 2-0, Tuesday night 7-1. So they can be really proud of their efforts over those two matches.
Absolutely. Now they face Hungary again at the tail end of next month. What do you think the team and the manager will be looking to improve and strengthen between now and then?
I think he'll be reinforcing what they did well. I think that's a really important thing. Sometimes people, when they go to video footage, always, picking out the bad things. But I think there's lots of positives to take forward and to reinforce and improve on there. Spain have obviously got the better goal difference, getting more goals against Faroe Islands and Hungary. So they'll be looking maybe how to, and they lost one goal against Faroe Islands as well. So how to improve on that goal difference and make improvements there. Now,
I know it's early days, but do you see this squad having it in them to go all the way and get to another World Cup?
Well, it's interesting. I was just reading about Emma Raducanu and about her, rise to winning the US Open. And when she played at Wimbledon, she kept saying to herself, "Why not me? Why not me? Why can't I get to the second week?" So hopefully, and then obviously the Scotland team have been at a World Cup in 2019, and the next World Cup 2023 is the 9th edition, and it's the first time in Australia and New Zealand. So that's a massive carrot, either to go as outright winners of the group or as a runners-up qualification tournaments. So I think they've got every confidence then to build on that great opening start.
Yeah, lots to look forward to.
Absolutely,
from the Scotland women's team.
Fantastic.
Definitely. Is jou gréis de falla vo tennis runnig Anna Brogan chillich hun spòrs si fiaching die sreep suas na rangannan. In teachingse vring Anna die 3 séascad sgioba bharrachd mun gémas do dhéanú is an arst ide a ruing agus mar a hain dachas a chud a dheis gan spòrs.
Ba Anna Brogan a tógáil tú club tennis in Feran úr. Smar sin, specin nniuúna go de iarrtasan spòrs. Sfai fulla seach na bheidh óg go raibh ar léis skilla leis rachgaid.
I would say probably played my first tournaments around 6 or 7, and played in the county events, and I started winning, and that felt good, and I was surprised, and I could see that I was good in comparison to other kids. There was great county squads that were on kind of. I remember every Tuesday, Thursday I'd be at Scotstoun, and there would be training with all the best kids in the county, and then along with a great setup at Newlands, and then from there was then options to then start going up to Stirling to be involved with kind of the Tennis Scotland groups and things. So as a junior there was a good support network.
Her studie bharrachd an an 2013 go bhí Anna na sár cluicheadair tennis bruidhinn. Goprithe at Cuideachd gus an geamaichean a leisachug haar na blianachin.
Yeah, Judy, very grateful for the time and support she's always given me, and when I was a wee girl she was still kind of working for the LTA and Tennis Scotland, so was lucky enough to have regular time with her on the court, and it was always great fun, always learning, always hard work, but in a very light and engaging manner. You know, we always had a good laugh, but it was serious as well. You know, it was pretty full on through my teenage years, and it got a little bit too much come 18. So yeah, I didn't play for a number of years, and yeah, it was a really good thing for me to kind of just have time away from the sport and grow up and do other things, get a normal job and studying things. That just that perspective is needed, or sport can be quite all-consuming.
A steigíonn spòrs acailir san gris, chuirí coram becin meoracha go gheanú. Ha Anna anis cuideachd go gheanú, gon Chile go geamanan bharrachd. Gus feichgin décho sarvachal a iúd I bhí. Ha lán fisaige décho darmh sa visa, ach go cínteach ha talent is an focus aige gus a chúis gheanú.
Yeah, I'll be looking at getting on the road within the next month, and getting the matches in on the ITF tour, and it's for me it's just giving everything and leaving no stone left unturned, and the results will be the results, but for me it's really just, can I give my absolute best and see what I can do. I want to be competing at the highest level, and it's to do that I've got to be fully focused on giving everything to the process today and staying in today. There's no point in me getting wound up or thinking about what's happening next week when I need to be doing it the best I can today. Yeah, leave the results to take care of themselves.
Ha tennis bruidhinn na ban a bhís na neachgan na hiúngarid. A stei bharrachd canú, farpis oscailte na stáisiún únite a bhuanachug, ag Cuideachd Òg. Ba Anna lua ar an níon og a bhallach son chomassadaini sa chúrs dhearinach.
To be doing that at 18, so young, and to be taking everything in her stride so effortlessly, it's completely remarkable, and it's been documented. You know, it's only her second professional event. It really is remarkable.
Thug tennis bui mhór ar bethe Anna, tá ar son Tosgaire an spòrs, le bhí a brosnachach a na gainealach de cluicheadair.
Yeah, and that's something I think about a lot, is how much tennis has given me, the people I've met, the places I've went to, but the coaches and mentors that have inspired me as well. I've been really lucky to have worked with some pretty phenomenal people who've had big influences on my life, not just on the court, just as a person, you know. chatting to a lot of real knowledgeable, wise coaches and trainers, and yeah, I think one day I would like to coach, not at the moment, but when I'm finished with my own playing. It's something that, I mean, who knows what will happen, but to give back in that sense and help other youngsters on their journey.
Heather, what an inspiring and mature young lady Anna Brogan is. I'm feeling quite old. I was at school with her big brother, and I remember Anna when she was very little. I know you know Anna well. She spoke a wee bit there about taking some time away from tennis. She's now come back. How delighted are you to see her back?
Yeah, it's fantastic because I know how much she loves the game, and she talked about, you know, starting at a very young age, living near Newlands Tennis Club where she grew up. So it's fantastic that she's played, and when she was 18 she went to America, and obviously just needed to take a break after that. So it's just great that she's taken time to reflect and realise how much she likes the game, but it's probably come back with sort of a different perspective on things, and knowing what she wants to do, but also having there's life outside the game as well, and getting that balance in her life. So to be able to deal with results if they don't go her way, or they do go her way, getting that balance. So it's great that she's doing that, and it's great to have her. She's been training at Newlands, which is her local club, and she's been playing in our team as well. So being able to do a team sport sometimes as well, because it's quite individual game when you're playing at the highest level. So I think just to have that balance and there was some lovely footage there of her playing at the Scotch Cup finals in August there, and she's such a competitor and such a great teammate, so we're delighted to have her, and everyone at Newlands will be supporting her when she goes and plays the tournaments abroad and at the next level.
Yeah, it must be good to hear from someone who does kind of coach a lot, when young people start talking about, yeah, it's something that I might look to do later on in my career. It must be quite encouraging to see that they're not just intending on, you know, going off being competitive and then retiring and never coming back to it.
I know, because I think growing up with tennis particularly, I mean, she's had a lot of coaches, and she mentioned Judy there, and she's got a lot of good mentors and good coaches to refer to. So she's got a good starting point in terms of she's had all that experience, and then it's just flipping it around, and being a coach is quite a selfless act. So yeah, it's fantastic that she would consider doing that and once she's finished playing. But I think she's only 24. I first played with her when she was 11, and she's got so much more to give. So I think that'll be a while yet, but great that she's thinking along those lines, and she's a very generous, kind, caring person, so she would be an excellent coach. But lots to go still on the tennis front from her own playing perspective.
Yeah, I know you've been hitting some balls around with her recently. How fierce is she on the court? Oh,
she's just such a great competitor to play with, and she talked about that focus, and she, you know, not worrying about what's happening next week or what's gone before. It's just like in the moment. You know, even if she's love 40 down on her serve, she'll be determined, it's every point, and her attitude and her application are second to none. They really are. And I know she's getting a sort of training schedule organised more locally, and I think that will help her do that. She's going up Stirling as well as being in Glasgow, so there's an academy there. So her focus and application really are amazing. Yeah.
Lots happening in women's tennis at the moment. It's great to see some Scottish stars, but Emma Raducanu, obviously having bounced back from a period of immense pressure following her performance at Wimbledon this year, she bounced back in the most extraordinary way at the US Open. How great is that for tennis, and is that not just a coach's dream when someone captures the public's imagination like that?
Yeah, and I suppose it sort of epitomises sport. I mean, one day things go for you, one day things, you know, go against you, and it's how you deal with it. And I think probably Wimbledon, I mean, it was only her second, you know, pro tournament. So I think, and she's just done 2 A levels, which she got an A star in maths and an A in economics. So for me, Wimbledon was just like almost being thrown into the deep end and much. And she was, you know, playing in #1 courts, and she really rose to the occasion. But by the time she got to the 4th round, I think, you know, she'd really expended a lot of energy. So, but I think she used that for the US Open massively. And I think somebody texted me and I said, she's just in New York having a ball, literally. You know, exams are done, you know, and you know, out of my bubble, and I'm in New York, and I get the chance to play on the best stadium ever, Arthur Ashe. So she just, you know, played 10 matches without dropping a set, straight from qualifying, just unbelievable. So Virginia Wade watching her, Tim Henman watching her, I think she rose to the occasion, but I think she used that. She's a smart cookie. So she'll have gone, well, what happened that day? Why did that happen? And how can I address it? How can I have techniques to help me? And I know she's, Andrew Richardson travelled with her. He was a pro player himself, friends with him, and he's called the Gentle Giant. So I think she's probably quite high achieving apparently. She doesn't accept anything less than an A-star in her things. So I think probably him calming things down was a big help at New York, and so she's got a lot of good team around her. But it's just fantastic, and I think it really captured everyone's imagination. And I know tennis clubs have really benefited during the pandemic with more and more members, and I'm sure that final and the lead up to the final at the US Open would have encouraged even more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure she did have a ball in New York. Her parents weren't with her either. 18 years old and playing at the US Open, winning the US Open, and your parents aren't there to supervise. I'm sure she did have a ball. But yeah, I mean, I think
I'm sure she had a good team around her.
A good team around her to supervise very sensibly. I'm sure. But yeah, no, we did touch upon tennis being a kind of individual sport with Anna there and with Emma, and you know the importance of that team around you. Anna's now going out to start playing competitively again. How important is it for her that she kind of has that good bubble around her?
For Anna?
Yeah,
definitely. I think now she's coming to probably she will be making more of her own decisions. She's 24 now, and the same with Emma as well. It's just like you're growing up, and in terms of, it's an interesting thing, quite young, but they're probably a bit more mature. Raducanu, like Navratilova said, it seems like she's been here before because they've been playing from quite a young age. In tennis years, they're actually quite mature. So I think they will choose, and Anna will choose a good team around her that will have a positive effect on her, and make her play well, like enjoy her training and enjoy her matches. Because at the end of the day, Federer always talks about that as well. He wants to enjoy his tennis, and that's why he's still playing. So she will choose wisely. I know she's hitting with a couple of the guys, and she's really enjoying that. So it makes all the difference.
Good. Well, a bright future for Anna Brogan.
Super bright.
Heather Shannon Goundry bheadh lácha le rugby sé déanú na suaigh gus an géime bharrachd na chuig tron op bhairche mar Tosgaire Òg Rugby Force. Heather Shannon bhí bruidhinn t-seachdain gus bharrachd ise man program agus na Hamilton na h-obair gus rugby an ban I léise chuig.
A fiachan fi Jeffrey Yano haith cluicheadair rugby ag skipper Hamilton Shannon Goundry a Hannah McKirdy mar Tosgaire Òg on a program Rugby Force.
A lot of rugby clubs, like speaking as like a female rugby player, a lot of clubs in Scotland, it's kind of focused around the men's senior teams, and I appreciate that because obviously they're the ones bringing in a lot of money, but it's quite difficult to like kind of get change to happen and to get numbers up in the women's game. There's still like a gap that we need to bridge, and I'm quite I like to kind of get involved with things like that, so I can see at Hamilton that there's things that I want to happen, there's things that I want to change, and I'm like, I want female rugby to kind of develop all over Scotland, and I kind of want to start at Hamilton, but it's like it's not just one place, it's a kind of continuous journey.
Ha Shannon na first de bhuiinn sa program a ha an dáchas taiche chud I léisicha gan the rugby ag iad táisicha.
Basically, Rugby Force is a select group of ambassadors. I think there's 10 of us, and basically it's to help with the development of rugby at grassroots level, and basically it means getting kind of younger people in the committee, getting younger people on hand, on site, because that's how we're going to see development, and that's how we're going to see it faster. So it's given the people that have been chosen, because we'll have to apply, and we'll get training and like social media and events and things like that, and it's given us the tools so that we can walk into a committee and like, right, this is what we need to do, this is how we need to do it.
Union a Hamilton ag Shannon sé daibh na séarain gach club agus Cuideachd a ficha dis an bear na gúnach clubíchen ans na scírin in a dal.
I want to see better connections between like inter-club relationships. I want to be able to go to a men's game at Hamilton and be like, oh, I know that person, oh, he's doing really well today, things like that, and have that kind of support there
for the other way. I want to be able to see kind of male players from the club coming to our games and knowing exactly who we are and just seeing that kind of inter-club relationship. But I also want to see that with kind of surrounding teams. So part of my application, I had said that I want to get in touch with h-Obair, because they don't have a women's team, but they have a very strong girls section. In Hamilton, it's the opposite. It doesn't have a girls section, but it has a mostly developed women's team. We are still fresh, but our numbers are great and training's been excellent just now. So I feel like there's opportunity there to bridge that gap, and I imagine there's going to be kind of some obstacles, but that is my goal, to make that relationship and a kind of partnership there, if they'll let me.
Ha Shannon is smundrin gyfel programmen mar Rugby Force Cuideachd and a bit torsk horm to gúine rugby iarrtasan.
I think it's like massively important. I mean, in Scotland, obviously you've got your Super Six, but even in terms of development, a lot of players get lost. See, between that kind of moving from your unders age groups to your adults age group, a lot of players are kind of struggling because there's not that clear progression. You lose a lot of players to university or other sports, or just generally they don't really know what they want to do. So you do lose a lot of players, and it just doesn't flow very well. To keep people playing rugby, there needs to be more it needs to be easier. You need to make it easier for girls to play rugby, for girls to move up to the women's section, and there just needs to be more fluidity between it, so that like it's everyone's game, and that's what we need to focus on, because it's such a positive sport and it's such a friendly environment, and we just need to make sure that continues and kind of facilitate it as much as we can.
Ha Shannon a fechting leisige gan the rugby agus Cuideachd is mór san teich fún a clubíchen.
I think it's developed massively, like even the support. So obviously I started playing for Stirling County, and even the support thing we used to have compared then to now, like you can see like the teams have come on leaps and bounds, and like looking at like Watsonians, for example, a lot of their players are individually sponsored, and there's a lot more funding available and a lot more support. Like you've got more fans coming out, there's a lot more support, I would say, and it's nice to see that, because you've got people coming out to watch you play, and a lot of clubs are actually stepping up and supporting their women's team more than they used to, which is nice to see. I think if we just keep going the way we're going, like it's everyone's game, and as long as we just work together, I think it'll be excellent for the future.
Heather, great to see somebody so young and so passionate about rugby at grassroots and community level.
Mm-hmm. Very much so, very much so. Fantastic role models. So there's 10 ambassadors and a great idea, and she's really clear on what she wants to do. It was interesting, she was talking about bridging the gap. She's in between, both within her own club and then making a partnership with h-Obair, between Hamilton and h-Obair. h-Obair have junior girls section, but don't have the women's, and then vice versa at Hamilton. So she's clearly a very good communicator and has a lot of passion and driving force, and trying to bring all the different facets of the club together. She was talking about the support within clubs for male and female players, and I think now as we come out of the pandemic, I think clubs are just delighted to have domestic rugby back again. We've been going the last few weeks now for domestic competitive rugby, and I think that's really bringing people together, bringing people down to the club, and I'm sure she will have a great part to play within Hamilton and within not just the club itself, but she was saying in fact the whole of Scotland. She really is quite ambitious. So I think a lot of clubs are pretty good at the relationships and support of each other, but I think she really wants to drive the standards up for all clubs to encourage boys and girls to have the same opportunities. I started at university, but obviously now you get the chance to play at school. It's just fantastic. Scottish Rugby at the moment have a schools week on, and there's opportunities there for boys and girls to try rugby for the first time in a fun and exciting environment, and there's education packs for teachers, so that's a fantastic opportunity too. So yeah.
And Shannon was talking there about bridging the gap between girls and women's,
yeah.
And the adult. the kind of pathway exactly between them. How do you combat that when you do? I mean, I think that's something that's common across lots of sports, is you lose kids at a certain point. How do you overcome that?
I think there's sort of links. Quite a lot of teams have the training, the junior training before the women's training. So just to encourage, and some of the senior players go down to help with the junior training. So that's one aspect. And also at the moment there's girls' festivals taking place for the juniors, and I think it's important that they get the right skill training, but also the introduction to competitive rugby as well. They like playing together in a team. So I think that's also important too. And when you become 17, you are eligible to play adult rugby. So again, the senior team bringing them up. So it might be that your club doesn't have a women's team, but in the local area there might be a women's team that you can join as well. So there's lots of work to be done, and role models there, and seeing the senior team playing. I think that's hugely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about having senior women to aspire to, the Scotland women's rugby team is doing exceptionally well just now. They won at the weekend against Spain, that following defeat in their opening qualifier against Italy. You were there commentating on both games for BBC Alba. Do you want to talk us through those performances?
Yeah, I think it's hugely exciting. For those that don't know, there's a European qualifier on at the moment for the World Cup, which is going to take place next year. It was meant to take place this year, but it's been rescheduled, and it's going to take place in New Zealand. So there's 3 qualifying spots up for grabs. The European qualifier, it's really the top 2 that would have the chance. At the moment there's 4 teams. There's Italy, Spain, Scotland and Ireland all battling it out, and at the moment they're all sitting on an equal number of points. So Scotland's first match against Italy, that was a tough opening. It was a Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock local time in Parma in Italy at the stadium there, and it was really hot conditions, over 30 degrees. So lost 4 tries in the first half. The Italians, really their offloading game, exceptional. Once they get up ahead of steam, they're quite difficult to stop. But Scotland came back and got a try through Rona Lloyd in the second half to lose 38-13 in that first match. But they definitely regrouped during the week, and conditions got a bit cooler, thankfully, for the fair Scots amongst us. So yeah, the girls regrouped, and it was really fantastic to see on Sunday the response. In the Italy game, Scotland lost a try in the opening minutes, and again that happened against Spain, but the floodgates didn't open, and it was 19-17 at half time. Scotland were down, but fighting, and they got a fantastic try and a penalty as well in the second half. So they're rolling Maul from the line out. Really good tactical play. I felt in the second game we had better game management, more control, more precision, and I think using our forward play a lot more rather than going wide right away. I think we had more control and going through the phases and not panicking. So really good, and holding our nerve. And definitely the last 10 minutes, talking about holding the nerve, I think a lot of people were on the edge of their seats. Great defensive set to hold out Spain, because they were coming back, so it was 27-22. So obviously a converted try would have meant the other way. So Spain camped on Scotland's line, but Scotland did really well at the end defensively.
Yeah, and talking about those opening 5-10 minutes in both the Italy and the Spain game, that'll be something the Scotland team are definitely working on going into this crunch tie at the weekend against Ireland. What else will they be looking to work on and strengthen between now and then?
It's interesting. Ireland have everyone in the group have won 1 and lost 1. Ireland have only lost 2 tries, 1 in each game. So defensively, they're always a hard nut to crack. They beat Italy 15-7. So they turned things around. They themselves had lost to Spain. So it's all sort of swings and roundabouts, etc. in the group. I think if it's trying to be patient against Ireland. Their defence is good, and you have to recognise that, and have to be patient and have control. And I think using the line out Maul as well, and I think just getting a better start as well. And Scotland themselves probably have to shut up shop more in defensively and play in the right areas of the pitch. And I think they'll be looking to really focus on getting a better start, and I think keeping patient, and the chances will come. Some fantastic tries on Sunday. Megan Gaffney, Rona Lloyd, really, and Helen Nelson, all finishing off some great moves, and with the forwards try in as well, the 4 tries. So that was really important to get the 4 tries on Sunday, because that meant Scotland got a bonus point. The way things are working, it's all to do with the points table. It's not straightforward wins and losses. So if you get a win, it's 4 points. If you draw, it's 2 points. And if you score 4 tries, you get a bonus point. But if you lose by 7 points or less, you also get a bonus point. So that's why all the teams are sitting on 5 points at the moment. So it'll be really exciting come. So it's interesting though, Scotland play Ireland after Italy play Spain. So they'll know what they have to do after that game, but a must-win match. So yeah, really exciting. And obviously it goes to draw. There's all sorts of different permutations. If any teams are tied, then it goes on the head-to-head result. And obviously if that's a draw, then it goes to points difference. So points difference is important as well. And then it goes to tries difference, etc. So yeah, everything to play for. Everything to play for. They'll be doing their prep this week.
Yeah, I can imagine it's going to be a tense watch, I think.
Yeah, and fingers crossed it's not just quite as hot as it was last Monday, so a bit cooler. Yeah.
Well, Heather, thanks so much for being with us this week on 360, and we look forward to the rugby at the weekend.
Fantastic.
Well, sinné is son noch. Die an cíneach go bhéisiú alianting BBC h-Alba iad YouTube is son na programmen mehéirigh ag t-seachdain. Agus cuideachd go bhfuil géime beo iad BBC h-Alba just saharne le h-Alba a cluicheadair an cuairstin Jedi is son cúpa cluinnidh rugby na ban. Bí Iona Ballantyne i leis an nachdheachcing agus bí art ofagad bhil borannaigh h-Alba nach an na spòrs Maureen McGonagall cáilbhíre. Mar sin le drasta.